Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley
and Will. I believe we have some Final Fantasy business to discuss.
Okay. Oh, do we start on the high number or the low number, though?
Well, I think the floor must go to the low number because you've played it and I want to know your thoughts and review and enjoyment on it. So I'll just chuck in some news about it and then we can just skip over.
Okay, so we're starting on 7.
Yeah.
Crack on.
Gotta do. Well, okay. I've seen more of 7. What started off as me frothing at the mouth, and
gushing
Rob
at the
rolling his
gusset.
eyes, has turned into quite a sexy game. I've been keeping an eye on it. It is insane the amount of work these people are doing for a game, which is actually a hell of a lot more than just a remake.
It's a new game with an old story.
I was quite happy with them putting together a game which essentially was the old game, as Rob goes and leaves the room. But made with today's tech. Yeah, Rob's going into the fridge, so we'll talk.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I would have been quite happy with them essentially remaking the game as it was, with some nice sort of, RE2 reimagined style cameras and everything else.
Yeah.
But it's insane the amount of work they've done. They've redone all the dialogue. They're retelling the story. They're actually adding bits into it because some parts didn't make sense before. They're doing a version of this made by a lot of the original people that worked on and made the original game. The biggest shock for me is summons are no longer things that end the gameplay or a cutscene that you just watch. They take part with you. It's kind of like Final Fantasy X, in which they become, when the characters run off, the summon comes on and they join the party.
Yeah.
You have set moves and stuff.
Yeah.
Only your existing party continue. They're an extra party member.
Okay,
so they continue to battle with you, alongside you, and then you can give them commands as well.
So in 12, the person that summons them stays in the fight, and the summons and the other ones bugger off. So similar to that, but the other one's not buggering off because it's got the computing power. Yeah,
it's insane.
Cool.
And also, the other thing that actually blew my mind was the biggest complaint that a lot of, I'd say, purists, stroke arseholes, would say about it. It's like, I'm not playing it. It's not like the turn-based original FNAF, where's my huggy pillow? They've built a turn-based combat version of the game into the game.
I did hear about that.
It is fucking insane, considering you can play the game like a Devil May Cry version, in which you're doing all of the actions on the fly. You essentially have 3 ways to play this game now.
So ARPG or JRPG or RPG.
Or just, it's crazy. You've got the weird hybrid system where it pauses where you select commands, but you could also choose it. I think they called it, oh god, I can't remember what they called it now. It was something beginning with I. It was some system where the characters run around on their own and you just choose the commands during battle.
Yeah, it's like the Gambit system.
It's like the Gambit system in a sense,
which I will go into quite heavily shortly.
Yeah. But, the whole thing of it being split over 3 games did annoy me at first because I wanted it all now. But having gone back and looked at the game, what they're doing actually makes sense because the first disc was always just set in Midgar. So them having this first game set in Midgar is essentially this game is disc 1.
It does.
And I imagine the other 2 will be disc 2 and 3.
As long as there's enough meat on the bones, I think that's entirely acceptable. But what I will probably do is, if this comes out, call it a 60 quid game that you can get as a 50 quid game on release day. And then the next third of it is a 50 quid game, and 150 quid for a new Final Fantasy. I think I'll be waiting for the complete edition.
Yeah. Well,
meanwhile, Jesus Christ.
meanwhile, I will be sort of using some really extremely, utterly flawed logic and saying that, well, I haven't been buying games much.
You'll find a way to justify it because it's what you want.
I'm going to hold my hand up and say I'm probably going to be that nutcase that is looking at a PS5.
Yeah, the one with the cloud sword.
Yeah. Genuinely, because I just feel as though there haven't been many games that have grabbed my attention. I've been enjoying the ones I have, but I feel this has kind of just grabbed me by the ear holes and it's screaming at me. And everything I'm seeing about it looks like I can't wait to get my hands on this and play it. Just the story, the dialogue, it seems to be, as you say, quite meaty. They're doing
you don't need a PS5 for it, right?
No, I know. Okay. I've already pre-ordered it.
But on PS5, it might have ray tracing.
Yeah, and I'll see that too. Anyway, yeah. Right. So, William, Gambit systems.
I've also been playing Final Fantasy. I've been playing Final Fantasy XII, which was a game I played on the PlayStation 2. But got frustrated on, couldn't find out what to do, gave up, moved on to another game and never went back to. However,
is this one any more intuitive, or is it just like your years playing games that is assisting you with it this time?
It's a good shout, and I don't know because I can't remember. I think it is actually more intuitive because there's a little thing that I don't recall from the earlier version where you can left-click the left controller, so L3 you might call it on PlayStation or whatever. And it makes a little map come up that's superimposed. It's kind of there's a mini map in the top right corner of the screen, but there's a maxi superimposed large version of the map, and then there's a quick shortcut to the map screen which gives you a better... The mapping system has been improved, basically. The thing where I just couldn't work out where I was going previously was crystal clear to me this time. I've not sought help from the internet. It was just apparent. Now, whether that's the way they've improved it or whether it's my gaming, I couldn't say. But yeah, sailed past the bit that stymied me last time.
I think that might be an improvement because I seem to recall it was almost like the dark era of Final Fantasy games where they would heavily hint towards you purchasing the guide that would come with the game. But then at the point with Final Fantasy XII, the guide then would push you to a website for even further information.
Yeah, and now it's all free on your mobile phone.
In the age where these websites don't exist anymore, it is a very stupid system. Yeah. So I reckon they've had some feedback, quite verbal, I imagine, over the years.
Yeah, that industry kind of...
collapsed.
Yeah.
That said, I am about 45 hours in. And you know something? I would not have played 45 hours on this game at home. Right? Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. It is the old game. And there will be people that would absolutely love and adore it. But to me, not interesting enough. However, I have a bugger of a commute. And I get an hour each way to play games on and off. With a little gap in between. But the Switch can pop in my pocket when I change one train to the other. It's half an hour and then half an hour. And this is the perfect game because it's an engrossing game with a paper-thin plot like every Final Fantasy game, but incredible gameplay techniques. It's the ethics, the exploration, the levelling up, most of the story, the hot, weird, Babbit thing, Fran.
Or something. Fran. Do you want to hear something funny?
Go for it.
Actually,
is it the fact that she sounds like
from Star Wars?
She sounds fair enough.
Sorry, I couldn't hear either of you because you were both talking at once. Try again.
Fran. Yeah, sorry. She sounds like Björk. Was my point.
Oh,
but she's
that
ripped
sounds
off a
really
Star Wars.
Annoying.
No, she talks like this. No, I can't do a Björk impression. That's the problem. It's all so quiet. It's like Welsh, but Icelandic. It's bizarre. Anyway, Star Wars fact. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's based. I think the idea of the concept of it was based on Star Wars. So if you look at the main judge and stuff, which is obviously the Vader figure,
is she a Wookiee?
Chewie figure,
right.
You've got Smuggler as well.
Yes, Belt here, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is very charming. Yep.
He also wears a waistcoat, I think, as well.
He does.
I heard that comparison before, actually. So it's interesting to know that they actually properly use that as inspiration. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Although you could argue Star Wars was inspired by Seven Samurai. Anyway, sorry, wrong podcast.
And The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Yep.
No, that was Spaceballs, I think. Anyway. Okay. Brilliant time sink. Don't buy it if you only play the Switch at home, because you'll get bored, and there are much more fun things to do on a Switch. But if you need to kill an awful lot of time on a regular basis, it's a cracking approach, I think would be my perspective. I would never have bought it and gone back to it on a console PC at home. But for a travelling perspective where you could pick it up just now and again, or if your lifestyle is just that you can't sit down in front of the telly and you get an hour here and an hour there, it's perfect. I could probably have completed it by now, but you get all these monster hunting missions where you've got to go out and seek this particular creature, and sometimes it's just a case of go here, kill it. Sometimes it's a case of you get a little clue on how to find it, and this is where I have had to resort to Google to understand some of them. But you get the better loot, and it empowers you, and it means you don't get particularly stymied. I always over level on a Final Fantasy game, because it's much less frustrating than dying all the time. I'll grind before I die. But I think
it's one of those things you end up doing, isn't it? It's just you just think, I want to be able to hit something, and it hurts.
That's it. But what I do want to do is finish the game soon, because there are things mentioned probably in previous podcasts, such as the Goose of the Year.
Yes.
The Untitled Goose Game. Astral Chain, which I keep hearing about, which is possibly one of the games of the year. I want to pick up some stuff like that. But I will see this through to the end, because it's worth it.
Yeah, just quickly interjecting about like the number of Switch games. I just think it's time to sort of point that out once again at this point in the year.
What, that you still don't have a Switch?
Well, yeah, the fact that I still don't have one, and the fact that now, basically, my Steam wish list consists only of VR games, because every single other one of them is on Switch or is coming out soon on Switch. So, and my list of games now that I would play on Switch is
enormous,
longer than my list of games on any other system that I own.
And you have a stupid commute, and I do not understand. I appreciate things happen in life, but you really should have just pulled the trigger when you had spare money.
Well, yeah, this is my problem. No, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I really hope to own one soon. And when I do, I will have an embarrassment of riches to play on it.
Well, the trick, actually, it's worth mentioning the Switch Lite at this point, which has just come out, because I don't think, Rob, you would ever pay your Switch at home on your massive telly.
No, because I would play my PS4 at home.
So
on my telly.
Particularly are suited to the Switch Lite.
Yes,
particularly,
I believe so.
And what I don't know, because one thing you will hate about the Switch, the classic original Switch, is the lack of Bluetooth. Because I have to carry 2 pairs of headphones on my commute. I use my Bluetooth headphones because my phone doesn't have a headphone jack, and I have to carry a pair of jack headphones because my Switch doesn't have Bluetooth. But I do not know. But I think one of the reasons the Switch doesn't have Bluetooth is because it uses Bluetooth to connect to both controllers. What would be interesting to understand, and I haven't checked this, is whether the Switch Lite therefore can connect to Bluetooth headphones. Because you are the market for that cheaper version of the console.
Yeah, definitely. It's £198 on Amazon right now.
There are some deals with games and things as well that will be worth.
Yeah, I might get a bright yellow one, because I just think that would look cool as fuck.
See, initial reports I'm seeing that with a Bluetooth wireless dongle, headsets, headphones, Bluetooth headphones will work.
Yeah, but you've got to buy a specific Switch-compatible wireless dongle. You're knocking yourself back about, I think, 30-odd quid to be able to use Bluetooth headphones with a classic Switch.
Yeah, no. Business Insider, that trusty of all places.
Oh, yeah, they're thoroughly reliable.
Engadget.
Well, while you look at Bluetooth on the Switch,
Metro, Rod. Tell us about Metro.
I would say.
Yeah, I the other game from 2019 that I have played is the third entry in the Metro franchise, Metro Exodus, which was which I was gratefully
bequeathed.
sold. Yeah,
well, I sold
a reduced price.
Well, the funny thing is, I sold it to you at what was reduced at the time, but you waited months to play it, and frankly, you paid over the odds.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh well,
Was it more fun or less fun than the one about people being eaten by rats and getting the plague?
I think it's less fun than that. Yeah. But there is a certain majesty to the game that I'm still enraptured by. Like, I do find it very immersive, and I like sort of just disappearing into a place like that, however grim it might be.
I get that.
The problem, my issue with the game is that how they've decided to structure this game is over the course of 1 year, you traverse across the embittered nuclear wasteland of Russia. And so what they have done is they have structured each season into its own little open world area. The problem is that they are trying to go for a survival horror angle here. And my best way of surviving horror is to expend the minimum amount of resources possible. So when they say there's this over here and there's this over here, or you can just go there and finish the game like quickest, I will just go there because...
But unfortunately, you haven't got the equipment that would have helped you do that because you haven't done all the side stuff, which will clearly let you power up.
Yeah, well, it is a little bit... I think the challenge is a little bit fiercer if you do that.
Grind before you die.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I do like the way that they introduce sub-missions or like side quests in this, because they will be offered to you by an NPC, and there will just be a waypoint on the map, and so you don't have to do it. But I think I found this little girl's teddy bear when I was from someplace to another.
I was literally about to say about the teddy bear mission. That was literally the only one I could think of. Was the teddy bear mission? It's quite noticeable, isn't it? I've lost my teddy bear. I think it's over there somewhere. Would you mind?
Yeah, I basically ran up to the top of this like gas tank thing, and there was one of those flying beasties in its nest. Grenade time, and that sorted it out. So yeah, job done. But there are, I mean, it's a curious game, and there's quite a lot of different weapon types that you unlock as you go. But yeah, the ammunition is miserably allocated. Yeah. It's very sparse, and although I have recently got access to incendiary ammo that's very good, because if you get the gun that makes no noise, that can be very good, because you only need to like expend one shot and someone's rolling around on the floor.
Both bullets that you can find can be very effective.
Yeah. I'm sort of about halfway through the game now. I'll probably finish it. And each area is quite different, so you do get a different flavour of hell each time. Yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, at first, honestly,
that bit, so if you're over halfway through, I'm not wanting to do spoilers, but the bit with all the cannibals, right?
Yeah.
You know the bit I mean. That basically made me think, nope, there's no fun here. I'm just being attacked by cannibals constantly, and it's really dark, and I'm out of ammunition, and they're cannibals, and when I was playing Rage, I could use my superpower to punch them all in the face and make them explode into blood. And when I was playing Far Cry, whatever it's called, I could basically pull out this bouncing buzzsaw blade that bounced off the walls. But here, no, I've got to shoot them with my fucking air rifle, and it's leaking, and I'm running out of ammunition. I want to play some Borderlands. I could use one of my 5 billion guns to make them explode in different ways. And you know what? This is my point. It is a fascinating game, very well crafted, but it's harrowing, and I like happy violence. Right? Happy violence is the way to go.
There was this particular mission, and there's a bit like this in every Metro game where you're basically like, I'm going to have to reload because I've got no clean air filters and I just suffocate and die.
Yes!
But they always put it in there, like immediately, like if you just go in the right direction, you'll find a man with a gas tank that you can have, and it's just enough to get you through to the end of that mission. But you just have to find it.
But they don't signpost it, do they? Oh no,
they don't.
You have to scrabble around looking for that last bit of oxygen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I do like the way that they deliver some of the narrative. Apparently, there are like good endings and bad endings. Another thing about this game that's remarkable is
I liked my ending, which was selling it to some mug.
Selling it to me. Yeah. Okay. There is a unbelievable amount of recorded dialogue to the point where you are like, when are you going to shut up? Like, there's bits in between each mission.
As in the audio logs, do you mean? Or just the general...
No, just characters banging on.
Yeah,
one of the characters in the game is like your wife. And there are whole sections of this game where you just sit with her and she just talks while you're on this train carriage that's going past. And you get like options to smoke a fag or take a drink.
Well, you're Russian, but for the love of God, what other options are there?
Yeah. Oh, and also there's like lots of like diary stuff, and that's really badly written or translated to the point where they must have just got like the temp to do it. You know?
I did read quite an interesting, I think it was Kotaku article when it came out, kind of saying, actually you're best off playing the game with the Russian voice and English subtitles. And just like so many films, I could believe that. I think it's might feel more authentic, but unfortunately for me, it would feel even grittier. And I gave up due to the grit level, which was basically enough grit to sand away diamonds.
The thing is, I would do the subtitle thing, but I can't do that and keep my gas mask clean and mend all of my shit.
Can't read subtitles through a dirty gas mask, can you, Rob?
Murdered. No, and be getting murdered by like 100 horrible like zombie fucking things and dogs that are chewing my ass. Yeah, no, it's a very grim game. Oh, there was also there was another mission I played where like it's complete non-visibility and there's spiders and they basically just put in like it's not even an enemy.
Yeah, you got to get your Zippo out.
They just crawl across your field of vision. It's like so unpleasant, this game.
Oh, no. Have you not found the night vision goggles?
Oh, no, I have. You know what, though? I forgot I had them.
Yeah, that's how you see through that bit.
Yeah, I know. That would have made that mission 100 times less scary, but I just forgot I forgot I had them. So I was just using the torch.
And also, the trouble with the night vision goggles is you don't know if you've got enough batteries for them. And,
you have to wire the torch as well, because the torch stops working, Everything breaks. It's it's pretty miserable.
Whereas in Borderlands, I've got a grenade that spawns grenades that spawn grenades, and I've got a skill that makes me restore health every time someone gets hit with a grenade. So you know what? Fuck it, I'm playing that one. Grenade. It's fun.
Yeah. But I've got a scope with night vision.
Yeah, in Borderlands it doesn't get dark.
Yeah, see, that's I think that pretty much sums it up.
Brightly coloured carnage.
All right then, come on then, Marcus, tell us about Monster Hunter.
Okay, it's a game. The end. No.
Are you playing is it Iceborne?
It's a weird update in which it's renamed the game Iceborne, but I'm still on Monster Hunter World. There is still a lot to kill. I've just seen a blue flame version of a kind of like a chimera beast, and I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty," because it was like flying into view, big sparkly version, and then it napalmed everyone with a supernova.
All right,
and we all went, "Fuck."
I need to take a few steps back, please.
Yeah.
So, Monster Hunter, I get the concept that you're kind of this person with a big sword and shiny armour, and you're out to hunt monsters, right? This is my starting point.
Whenever you see the big sword person, that's just one class.
Okay, tell you what, right. What is the idea of the game, please? Because I don't think I've got this bit. Right.
It's got a basic flimsy story to pull you through levelling up. The aim of the game is to find big creatures, hit them in the face until they die, and then make some funky armour and weapons from it. So which then level up your strength and armour, and you kill the bigger thing and the bigger thing and the bigger thing.
And is there an ultimate aim, or is there a point at which you
the ultimate aim is to kill everything and wear its skin? You are essentially a bastard in a land of bastard creatures, all of which need to die. I'm really paraphrasing this, but that is the bare bones, basic, essential thing of this.
So it's a bit like that. It's a bit like that Untitled Goose game.
Yes, only
just there to upset things, right?
Funny enough, there is like a giant thing which has a similar name to a goose, but well, the idea is that you are a bunch of people that have arrived in a new world, and you're joining a group that's already out there. So you're on a ship and you arrive, and this massive magma creature sort of hinders the arrival, and you end up having to run across its back and that sort of thing. And then you eventually get to the camp, and then they're all doing investigations into the creatures because something's been making them go a bit crazy. So you go out and investigate. Things try to kill you, you kill them. And essentially, it sounds a bit. It is a Capcom game, so the storyline is quite weak. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of similar to like Lost Planet and sort of games like that, where the story isn't the best in the world, but that's not the point of the game.
It sounds compelling.
And this version of the game has got probably a weaker storyline than the others because it is the MMORPG version, whereas a lot of the other games are. I'm guessing, because I've only ever played part of one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I tried to single play a lot of this, and it gets fucking hard. I was trying to take on, like I said, during the chat, I was talking about this T-Rex, which turns out is part dragon, and it just flares up and starts shooting fire, and like, you're not a fucking T-Rex, what the fuck are you? So I'm legging it, and this thing's chasing me down through the jungle, and then, an Anjanath, and then, anyway, digressing aside, I'm actually stupidly enjoying this game. I did not think I would do. Much like any sort of RPG, you've got lots of classes. So you've got bows, you've got two versions of a bow gun, which are, one is like almost like a smart gun from Alien, and one is a smaller assault rifle version. You've got a longsword, which is like a slightly nimbler version, kind of like a Sephiroth Masamune, and it's about the same size as well.
I literally understood every word of that, but not any of the meaning.
Yeah, well, you've basically got the big clunky massive greatsword that you always see, which takes an age to swing, and it's
big
ridiculous.
But slow, medium but medium,
big but slow,
small but
it connects, it stuns and stuff like that. Powerful attacks. You've got a longsword, which is good range, pretty good damage. You can't block with it, but you've got to be mobile and evasive. You've got a sword and shield class, which is quick attacks. You've got twin swords as well. You've got bows and various things, and they've all got different ranges. And literally, it's weird because when you pick each one of these, the game actually changes.
So do you
when you play the game, it's not like you pick one, you attack the same way and everything else. Your whole meta around the game changes.
And so what do? Do you meet random people and pursue monsters amongst you, or do you go out for a monster and people appear helping you, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can choose to form a party of. You can form guilds as well, up to 4 players.
Right.
Probably have more in the guild, but each party is up to 4 people. You could choose to go out on raids or missions or story quests.
Oh, that sounds very World of Warcraft to me, terminology-wise at least.
Well, they all are, to be honest.
Yeah. So this is essentially. Sorry, just so I understand. So this is basically about grouping up, building up your character, going out. Now I understand why you don't have time to play anything else, because the terminology, if not the gameplay, sounds like the World of Warcraft thing.
Yes.
It's a massive time sink.
I have put about 180 something hours into this already. For someone who doesn't play games.
I see why you're not playing any other games now. I get it.
But the weird thing is, I'm fucking enjoying myself. Like, each challenge, it feels like an action version of a boss fight. Like, the way that you get that adrenaline spike and all that, and you're dodging attacks. Yeah. And these things actually, I take my hat off to the programmers, because they act like creatures. They don't act like, just like, you know, like a Final Fantasy boss, because I'm only comparing it to them because some of these things are pretty fucking big. But they do act like creatures, like you've got to look at how they attack, learn how their body movement is before they're doing something massive that would, what they call cart you, which is basically, if you get knocked out, you get rolled up to your campsite and dumped off a cart. But yeah, it's basically all about just learning how these creatures behave and hoping you don't get fucked over by 4 or 5 of them turning up at the same time. Which can happen quite often. You'll be fighting something and something else would literally swoop in and start attacking you and attacking the other thing. And before you know it, you're caught in the middle of a turf war between 2 or 3 creatures in which you've either got to get the fuck out or carry on fighting. It's really hard to explain, but because it does sound really simple, but it is one of those things. It's kind of like when you're playing one of those old MMORPG games and stuff, like Destiny and all that sort of thing, where you're going out and you're taking on quests and you're fighting enemies, and it does, you're meeting these people and you don't even necessarily talk to them, so you're not even hearing like the annoying voices over the headset or anything like that. But you communicate through gestures and little speech bits and auto communication bits, and it translates it. So I've literally teamed up with like a couple of Chinese people and a Japanese person. None of us can understand each other. But if you put thanks for the hunts or thanks for the help, it auto translates it and they can understand what you mean. And there's things like laying traps as well and everything else. So you get arena quests as well, where you're in an arena and you're going up against something massive, and you kind of find yourself almost understanding what the people mean. Like, you know, if someone sets a trap and you go, okay, they've set a trap, we're all going to lure this creature here and stuff like that. And it seems like a really nice community, which is quite interesting. I think I've only ever come across one arsehole in the whole time of playing.
Sounds good.
Which is pretty impressive. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, me and Suze haven't even been doing any joint hunting, and it's making me consider picking up a second-hand PS4 Slim and sort of joining up so that the both of us can go out and take on quests together. Because she's been playing this game, and she's now, I think, like 80 or 90 hours.
Jesus. My recommendation, I think, is ditch it. Play some other games, because this is literally stopping you playing everything else.
Well, you say that, but I'm really, really enjoying it. And
fair enough. I did the same with Overwatch.
They've released so many. They keep releasing more and more creatures for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been out a year. I think it was about just over a year, maybe 2 years. I think. But they keep releasing, and they're for free. So if something else will come along, the bigger challenge or whatever. And Iceborne is this whole other expansion pack, which, it does cost about 35 quid. But I think it's twice the size. The area is twice the size of the original, which is fucking massive and has about 7, 8, maybe 9 different places. More things to fight, and you get better mechanics as well, and it's like a natural upgrade. So I'm actually really enjoying it. It feels like, even though I'm essentially playing an MMORPG, it feels like I'm playing a full RPG.
Yeah.
See, I've got another theory about Marcus's obsession with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm reading a magazine article in PC Gamer called "Why People Love Monster Hunter So Damn Much."
Okay,
and there is a section here.
Is there heroin in? Is that what it is?
Is that
it's got heroin in?
Well, not that heroin. There's a section here that says, like Pokemon, players begin to develop a deeply personal relationship with certain monsters the more they fight them.
Have you got a relationship with a monster, Marcus?
Also, there is another section here that says, similar to Pokemon, Monster Hunter has a time-tested formula for fun, but keeps things fresh by adding new monsters and worlds to explore with each new game. So,
Which basically Rob is saying it's Pokemon for adults, and that's why I like it.
That's it.
Which is good, and I'm glad that someone had the opinion to say that, and you formed it as your own.
But are you saying that Pokemon is for children? Because I know a lot of adults that play that.
Well, I know, but this is what I'm saying: is it's borrowing a lot of those ideas and sort of creating a different kind of game.
However,
or
to
not
be
a
honest,
different kind of game, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it has been going for a long while, and like I said, it is a Capcom game, and it is like an action game. So,
yeah,
and they did Japanese. And I mentioned Lost Planet as another action game, which I think actually was a Capcom game as well. So
it was.
They've kind of been doing this for a little while, and yeah, I can kind of agree with that. There is an addictive element of you see something new, and then when you do encounter it, you just about survive it, or you run off, or it pops up on the map, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And if you do kill it, you do go back to the smithy and go, "Holy shit! Wonder what kind of armor it would allow you to craft." And you see a preview of it, and then you're like, "Oh fuck, that looks amazing!" And you go out and you try and find it again and kill it.
Yeah, no, it's having that game loop, that that sort of vertical slice. It's very compelling.
But I'm
me,
actually,
I like it.
Yeah, no, go on. Sorry.
For me, I like a little bit of a storyline with my monster hunting.
To be honest, I'm all for that. I mean, I love a lot of storyline games, but I'm just saying, for me, I'm finding this a lot of fun, incredibly enjoyable. I would not have put this much time into it if I wasn't. And it's just, I don't know, I just find it almost feels like that whole sort of get good. Whenever the more I do, and so I just found a new sort of attack string with the weapon I've got. And I was just sort of like, holy shit, you mean I can, because you get buffs and stuff as well. Each class is different. So I currently use a longsword. And you can increase the attack power by landing certain combos and certain hits, and you land the last hit of it, and you can go through and repeat the process and stuff like that, landing hits and increasing damage. So I'm finding I'm getting better at fighting creatures. So when something comes along and I'm back to taking like 9 off it, whereas I was taking 48 or something that was a couple of levels down, you get that sense of, holy shit, this is going to be a tough fight. And you're strapped in for the full 50 minutes, hoping that... And you can launch SOS flares, as long as your party is set to a maximum of 4, and someone else can just go into the quest board, see if anyone's launched an SOS flare, and join in. So a complete random can come in. And for them, the pull is that when they do beat the creature, they get to carve it, and they get some of the rewards from it. So you'll get some incredibly high-level people turn up. Like, I had someone who was level... We had someone drop in who was level 999. And it was just like, Jesus Christ, who is this person? And they were wearing this armour, and it would look like some weird sort of god with tassels and stuff coming off it. And we were like, what the fuck did they kill to get that? And they just turned up and hit it a few times, and it died. And we were like, Jesus. Okay. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy. It feels to me like the old days when I used to play Guild Wars and people used to come and join you and help you out and stuff like that. It's a weird sense of camaraderie in it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Anyway, I will play other games. Because I realised I've put nearly 200 hours into this fucker. I need to play something with an actual meaning. But no, that's sold it short. But I'm enjoying it loads. I mean...
We
got
good,
man. When you find your jam, that's magical. Will, have you got anything? Have you been playing anything else?
Can't remember. No, I don't think I've hit anything new. Final Fantasy Borderlands, that's me. Done.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Well, I've got a few more things, but we don't have to go on for too long. Assassin's Creed Origins, I'm enjoying very much. I know I should be playing Odyssey, but I wanted to do this one first. It's my happy place at the moment. I'm loving the setting. It's
a nice game.
Pyramids.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's just so well. I just love the fact that you've kind of got all of that tactile environment, interaction where, the way you can get around, and they've put the RPG stuff on top. So, and it's all really meaningful. I think they've done a good job of transferring like a lot of the range of abilities that are in a fantasy RPG, but reining them in to a real life setting. For example, you've got your spear for your area effects, and your DPS with your dual swords and stuff. Plus, if you do the whole sword and shield thing, it's got more of a like martial, what I imagine Dark Souls to be like. Having
I forgot you could do sword and shield in that one, because in Odyssey it's different.
Right. What, it's enforced, or?
No, I just don't recall you having a shield.
Yeah, you have a shield, and even with the spear, you have the shield in Origins as well. But you don't have to really use it.
Okay.
But you can. I like the way that you can upgrade your stuff with resources you find. You don't have to do that, but as you pick things up, you get the option of how you spend that stuff. You can upgrade weapons you've already got. I like that. If you've got one you particularly like, you can just upgrade that at the blacksmith instead of swapping it out for a new one. All of it, your approach to combat is a lot more meaningful, like the way you approach things than it used to be, which was always just canned animations, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, I keep hearing this, but you're a game behind and you're enjoying it and it's better. But when you get to Odyssey,
yeah, I know, there's a lot to love. I just like the way the quests are designed. There's like a little bit of that investigation element that I loved in The Witcher.
Yes.
You get to an area and you're looking around. You might have to push a block to get through somewhere to find something. So it all just feels like a lot more meaningful than the usual sort of fetch quest. Go here, kill that.
Yeah. Follow them and listen to what they say without being detected.
There hasn't been a lot. I haven't seen any of that so
far.
No,
that was... that went a while ago, but got it with the classic Assassin's Creed. Follow them through the rooftops.
Yeah.
Don't get seen. Don't get out of the range.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes, though, with them shifting the, rather than setting every game in a built-up city, for the sake of maintaining that gameplay, actually taking it out of that and making it more about the story and the things you do.
Yeah. I have to say, the rumours of the next one being a Viking game get me very, very excited. Now, I would love to see it. Now, I can see longboat fighting. So we're talking post-Greek, but pre-pirate. But I can see... But the Viking longboats weren't big, as a general rule. They'd hold a crew of maybe 20 tops. But I can see the longboat fighting. I can see the exploration being fascinating. Seeing the Greek islands in Odyssey, I can see what they could do with most of Europe, or at least a huge amount of the inhospitable north. Maybe even diverging from the map to help Ragnar Lodbrok sack Paris, to help them explore other parts of the country, to basically besiege Jorvik, to do all sorts of cool things. I'm looking particularly after seeing what they're doing with the next Watch Dogs. Sorry, I choked on my own spit there. Next Watch Dogs. Yeah. Seeing what they're doing with that, and it could get very, very interesting for the next Assassin's Creed, which I think we will be seeing not even next Christmas if Watch Dogs is out in, April? Possibly March. We may...
Same week as Final Fantasy VII.
So we'll either see an Assassin's Creed for Christmas, or after that, It'll be fascinating.
I reckon.
Next gen.
I reckon
next gen seller.
Yeah, it's going to be a launch title for next gen. I reckon.
Yeah.
Because I reckon that map is going to be like a huge part of probably part of England, part of Scandinavia, top of Europe.
Yeah.
I reckon
going into France. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, I imagine that's how it will be. But no, I'm really trying to get my way through the Assassin's Creed. I really want to try and crack into Odyssey before the new Watch Dogs hits. And I can segue now into Watch Dogs 2, which I also got through.
You finished it.
Storyline. I finished it.
Now, there's a game I started 3 or 4 times and never got to the finish of.
No. It is essentially Watch Dogs Blood Dragon, in my opinion. It's kind of like they sort of took the original, which was very serious and dour, and then just went loopy with it. One of the very first missions involves you stealing this crazy remote-controlled supercar.
This kit out of Knight Rider.
Yeah, basically.
For those and just old enough to appreciate the reference.
Yeah, but there's loads of references to not exactly Blood Dragon, but it's just very garish and neon. But what I appreciated about the game was that it didn't really force me into ultra violence that often. I barely killed anyone in it. I didn't use any of the lethal weaponry. I think I might have accidentally run a few people over or blown a few people up. They were standing too near. Sorry, but I really liked all of the optional missions where you had to do the graffiti because it involved you having to use your drones to find your way up through this environment. Use cranes and stuff to get up there. And I really enjoyed all that. When it came to the actual missions themselves, I mostly played it like stealth and just tried to incapacitate everyone and do the hacking. So I really enjoyed the game. I just couldn't really get too invested in the fiction of it because it's very millennial. Everyone's using jargon that I didn't really get. I didn't really understand what they were doing. I mean, they're trying to get the man, I suppose, taking it to the hipster tech lords or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit pulpy, but I appreciate the gameplay. It was cool. Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah.
And I've just got a few little.
Was it a good ending?
Was it a good ending? It ended. I can't say it was worth it. I'm not saying, I wouldn't say you missed much, mate. If you enjoyed what you played of it and you were ready to put it down, then it served its purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the most unfinished games out there. To be honest.
That was very much the trouble for me. So I got it probably a year after it was out when it was down to half price. I got it. Played well into it, got distracted by another game. Probably played halfway through at that time. Got it, deleted it. Went back into it, played it probably to a similar sort of level. But at that point, I had the whole PlayStation Plus cloud saves thing. So I thought I'll go back to it. I downloaded it the other week. And there was no sign of it in my PlayStation Plus cloud saves. It had gone.
Oh shit!
So I spent a couple of minutes. Well, maybe spent 2 hours going through it from the start, and I suddenly realised it was all too familiar, and I'm done there. I will never see the ending of that game.
Yeah, I picked it up for about. I picked it up for about 12 quid in the summer sale. I picked it up after seeing the reveal of the new one. And thought, I should get to that.
Yeah.
And I saw online that the campaign wasn't massively long, so I thought, I think I spent about 25 hours in it or something like that. But I tell you what, my first impression, I thought the driving was very janky, but I think it was just the car they start you in.
Yeah, when you get the good ones, they're fine.
Yeah, no, they feel really great, and you're leaping around. I love the fact that it's all in San Francisco. Looks spectacular.
I couldn't give a fuck. I've never been there. You're going to go, oh, I went there and it was so familiar. It was lovely. We can't wait till it's in London.
I went there. Well, I went there and it was very overcast and I couldn't see the Golden Gate Bridge for shit.
But when it's set in London, you're gonna go, I turn around that corner and the fucking cheese shop that I normally go to wasn't there and I don't like it, I'm not happy.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Camden though. That look cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a proper representation.
Hope is lost Camden. I mean, I like you.
Compared to the current one?
Well, I don't know. It's less hipsters, I think, in this one.
I'll be running over the hipsters if I'm allowed to drive.
Yeah. But like you... sorry, go on.
You'll be too busy playing Final Fantasy VII when Watch Dogs comes out, Marcus.
I don't know.
Oh my!
You do know.
Oh, that's Titan talk.
I'm just fucking with you, Rob. But still, you don't know.
Could Marcus be holding out for Final Fantasy VII on the PS5 though?
Oh, for God's sake!
Can't wait that long.
No chance.
I'm too readable, but I am very, very, very interested in Watch Dogs 3. Watch Dogs. What was it called? Legion, that's it. Because much like you, I kind of fell out with the series. I couldn't be arsed. I struggled with both games, and but the third one, I just felt it felt right. It feels right. It feels like the right kind of world, the right kind of gameplay style. Just everything about it just feels right. It feels like this is the first Watch Dogs game, kind of, for me. I like the idea of the first one, the idea that you can hack the cameras and everything, and it seemed okay, but just the way that this world is, it feels cool.
Oh, it must be.
So
it's looking like the first Assassin's Creed was shit. Second Assassin's Creed built up pretty well, the Ezio thing. Yeah. This is the similar sort of thing, but this is skipping past 4 and going straight to Odyssey, I think. I think Ubisoft have learned a lot recently, and they're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Watch Dogs Legion is anything like Watch Dogs 2, you won't need any knowledge of the first game to play it and enjoy it. So
I imagine there'll be some Easter eggs, but that's it.
Yeah, I think there's a character in Watch Dogs 2 that's from 1, but I wouldn't swear to that, but he did look familiar.
I'd also not care. It doesn't matter. It's a story. A story's a story.
Absolutely. And speaking of stories, I played Detroit Become Human.
Oh, nice.
It was a while ago I played that, but David Cage game, interactive movie. The thing about this one is that they put out all of the possible branches that you could have gone down at the end of each chapter. And so it's kind of impressive, but the thing is, my mantra is as much as I like the fact that there are choices in games, I will only ever play them once because those are the choices I made. There is a section near the end of the game called Crossroads, I think the chapter is called, where all 3 characters kind of converge on this one location. And the number of permutations in that are mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But again, I've only played it once. It's the kind of game that, yes, you could watch it through on YouTube if you want, but I think it would be massively missing the point. And you would only ever see one version of that. And that is the version that someone else has chosen. So
I didn't want to play it out of principle that it's got yet another relatively evil Marcus, which seems to be my annoyance. But
depends what choices you make with him, actually.
True. Yep.
Yeah. I think we can wrap it up there. The only other thing I was going to quickly mention is Star Trek Bridge Crew, which I played in VR and is as nerdy and amazing as you might think it would be.
It does sound like a perfect thing.
Yes, it is. Cool. All right, then. I think we've got on long enough.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can leave it there. Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where we talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co. talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!
agree, cause I suck at Call of Duty.